Hello and
Hello and
welcome.
welcome.
Thank you for
Thank you for
joining
joining
our
our
special
special
edition Johnny Lee Memorial League off-season podcast here. I'm your host Cody. I'm joined as always by the Seton Hall legend Brackton Abella. Brackton, how are you doing, man?
Good, guys. I'm excited to get this going tonight. First of many.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And also joining us is three-time elementary spelling bee champ Paul Hitzelberger. Paul, how's it going, man?
Three time. I did
Three.
win once actually. Now that
You
I'm
in
middle
once?
school.
Only
I
once?
did. Yeah, I was my Patapsco Middle School spelling bee champion.
That's big. That's a
Facts.
big
Look it
deal.
up.
That's a big deal. All right. Well, Paul, how are you tonight, man?
Great, great. Excited to get back into it. Talk some baseball.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So tonight, we got a couple things to go over. The first thing that we're going to talk about is this offseason the league voted to realign divisions. So normally we just hold a draft, kind of on the Discord server, but we decided this time we're going to hold it live on this podcast. Guys, without saying who's doing it, that's a secret right now. How do you feel about division realignment? Like, what do you guys think about? Did you think the league needed it? And how do you hope it shakes out?
I voted for it. I think that kind of it's impossible to kind of tell how things are going to go when we first set them. So I feel like changing them every 2 or 3 years based on team trajectories and the constant activity and trades that we have in this league. I feel like it's pretty fair, and the two people that are going to be picking it, I'm confident will do a very good job. So
Yeah, and Paul, do you have any thoughts about us realigning divisions?
I think it's fun. I mean, I don't think it has a massive impact either way. I mean, as long as I can get out of Cody's division, I'm all for it. So, to
I
the
think
picker,
you've always been in my division, like
yeah,
always.
always. So I'm super pumped at the just even the chance of that not being the case.
Yeah, yeah, and well, and two, it kind of matters because of the way that we do the schedule, right? We play 20 weeks, and so there's you play your division opponents twice for 12 matchups. You play the other seven non-divisional opponents once. That gets you to 19, and then the 20th week. How did you do that last year, Paul?
Well, so it was same place finisher from the other division.
Okay,
So
yeah,
for this year, we're gonna have to get a little creative for that. So
yeah. Or we could just do same place finisher from the divisions last year.
true. Well, if there's two teams in the same division,
That's a great
and
point. Yeah, we'll
yeah,
we'll have to we'll have to
have to
yeah
figure it
we'll have to put our heads together on that. So, Braxton, if you want to tell Height to go ahead and jump in, guys, we're gonna have Hen and Height um, do the divisional draft. We think that this was kind of a fair shake. They were the two best teams in the league. I believe they were in the same league division together last year. So we thought it's best we split them up and let them draft their own opponents this year.
out. I'm excited about it.
I think Hen is in the room now. Actually, hi Hen, can you hear us?
So,
Come
so
on.
guys, do you hope you don't want to be picked first, right? That means Hen and Height don't respect you too much.
I'm
I have a
guaranteed to be
feeling.
the first pick. Yeah.
Bragton, I don't think you are.
No,
Let's
it will
let's
be.
call it
For
right now.
narrative's
Who's the
sake, it
first?
will be.
Bragton, who's the first pick? Who do you think the first pick of the draft is? What do you call it now?
Smell or Dave.
Smell or
One
Dave?
of them.
Paul?
Yeah. Or
Smell.
me.
Mine's Scott.
Hey,
I think I would.
smell. You know the team you belt. Don't go ouch.
Smell, it's gonna be me. Don't worry. I can promise.
I sent Smell a trade offer like 2 or 3 days ago that he insta declined and never spoke to me about. So that sucks. But during sending him that offer, I looked at his roster. I did not realize that he had already put that together. I think Smell is a competitive team this year, 100%.
Well, he owns the draft, so we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes.
He'll trade though. He'll like on draft day. He'll trade half the picks.
Yeah.
Okay, Jon Height, how you doing?
What's up, fellas?
There he
How we
is.
doing?
How we doing, Jon Heite?
Good. How about you?
Oh, there's.
I'm doing well.
So Hen only talks to Jon Heite.
Yeah, for real.
I said what's
man.
up. No, I said what's up.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Shoot.
To be fair, I said hi too, and no one else acknowledged me outside of Hen. What the hell?
Oh, I didn't hear that either. What?
What's up?
I said,
boys?
"What's up, fellas?"
What up?
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good.
You wanna
Cody, how
see
you
Dog?
doing?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
Good.
Doing well.
Jon Height, 2 more nights.
In fact, I know you're good, so I'm not even gonna ask.
Two more nights, Jon Height.
Yes.
That's
48
all I
hours.
care about. Yeah.
Very
So-
excited.
His last match.
Yes. Yep. We'll be there, and it'll be insane. So.
Hen, before we get started, man, how's Kennesaw State?
No, they've been doing good. I'm actually heading back up in a couple of days, but Georgia's been nice. Obviously, won the Conference USA title, so that was pretty. It's been pretty
Yeah.
fun environment out there. It's been good so far. It's definitely a little different the South than it is up north, but I mean, I've been liking it so far. Getting to meet some people.
True that.
Awesome. Yeah, it's got to be like a culture shock, I would imagine.
It's not. It's not. It's actually kind of not as bad because Kennesaw State's right outside of Atlanta, and so that's kind of like, it's much more of a city, and then Kennesaw and Marietta, like the two towns, have kind of been built
Right.
out. So it's not as like southern, like it's a bit more like urbanized or whatever, suburbanized.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Are y'all excited about picking who you're competing against this year in your division?
I am.
Yes, this was a great idea. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought it was probably best to split you two guys up. It kind of hard to argue that you two were the best two teams in the league last year, and y'all came from the same division. So we kind of thought probably need to correct that for this year if we can.
Yeah, I'm
I think
tired
I've
of
also
playing.
played. Yeah, I think we've played each other 10 times in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm done.
Something like
No
that.
more.
So
No more.
All right, so we the three of us have already put in our predictions for who we think you guys are going to pick number one. We didn't really factor this in on who was going to pick first and who picked second, but since Hen won the league, right?
yes.
He's our champion, so we'll let Height pick first.
That works.
Wow,
Yeah,
I thought you were
and-
gonna go the other way. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did
but-
too.
You
I
can't
know.
have it all, man. You
Hey,
can't
two,
have it all.
hey, best 2 out of 3. It's all good.
And I've won the two championships before
yeah.
last year, so let me pick first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought like since I'm trying. Well, no, actually, it should be Hen, shouldn't it?
Why don't we flip a coin?
No, what do you mean flip a coin? I won the league. I feel like I should at least decide what pick I get.
Let me think.
I like that.
Your
Let
original
Hen-
idea was good, Cody. You should stick with that.
Let Hen decide. Do you want to
I
pick
want
first?
to pick first.
Of course, he's gonna want to pick first. He's not going to pick second.
Dude, they're fighting over me. It's
Well, it's
insane.
snake.
No, it shouldn't snake. I don't think it should
Why
snake.
not?
It's two. It's one. It should go back and forth. I mean,
Just back
it's
and
two
forth?
people.
Yeah, back and forth is fine. Yeah, it's not that
Yeah,
big. Like,
Okay. So I got the first pick.
run
flip
it.
a coin.
Somebody have written this down.
Oh, yeah, here, I'll do it.
Jot it down on my phone. Braxton, do you have something to write it down?
Yeah, I'll put it in my notes. It's fine. Hold on.
Okay. So, hey guys, don't go like super fast. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I got Scott, I got Smell, I got like.
No,
don't do
make it
that.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
listen,
I like
like,
that.
you have
Oh
to
yeah, that's a
give
good
the
idea
reason-
from smell.
Where is she?
I have no idea. I haven't seen my daughter in like 3 hours, or my wife. But like, you guys have to give the reason why you picked the team.
No, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
They
All right,
prep for this,
so,
man.
are we? Yeah.
Facts,
I wish
smell.
we could. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna call her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she'll say I pick first, and I'll go
The
to
suspense
whoever.
is killing me.
Yeah, this is
Hold on.
great.
If she- Dude, she sent me the
Damn.
voicemail.
Yo, that's crazy.
Damn.
It's cold.
That's wild.
I pay your
Wow.
phone bill, bro.
That's crazy.
That Stranger Things episode is too good to leave, man.
She's watching Stranger Things. It's valid.
Yeah.
Just say
Okay,
pick
hold
between
on.
these two names.
Hold on. I'm going to the bullpen.
Hello.
Hey. Hey. I need something. I need you to pick who picks first, Hendog or Jon Heite. What are you thinking about? Just say, pick one.
Real Sophie's choice here.
Oh, say it for everybody to hear.
Jon Heite.
Jon
Yeah.
Heite picks first.
Hey, Jon
That's
Heite.
crazy. Okay, you know what?
God bless.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
Love
Jon
to
Heite
hear it.
picks first.
Jon
We
Heite.
are rotating back and forth, and you have to explain why you took that team.
Okay. Sounds good. So wait, have you guys like started the recording yet, or is it still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We've been recording all this.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
12 minutes of
All right. I mean, we're just saying anything
suspenseful.
dumb, but okay. All right. So I
Yeah.
can start
We're live,
whenever.
boys.
Okay. There you go.
All right. So for the first pick of the division draft, I see him already smiling here. It's a combination of obviously the Larks did not have an ideal season last year, not winning a game. They went 0-20. But obviously the future is bright. And when we look at the team, there's definitely things to build on for this next season. But also Bracton's one of my best friends, so I would love to play against him more than maybe some other team, just because there's a familiarity there. So I'm gonna go with Bracton with my first pick.
All right.
Okay, Bracton first. How do you feel about that?
I'm not surprised. I think people are going to be sleeping on the Larks this year, though. I'm going to win some games, like Jon Heite said. So I don't think I'll be finishing last this year. I look forward to seeing how the rest of the division shakes out.
Okay, Paul, what do you think about that selection?
So I don't think Bracton has the worst roster, but the volatility that is Bracton, I understand. I'll say that. I mean,
Oh.
Bracton he'll sell on a dime, he'll buy on a dime. I understand. I'd want to play that twice a year too.
Damn.
So I'm with no. Hold on, Bracton. Hold on.
That's
Tell me I'm
cold,
wrong.
bro. I didn't
I'm
say
wrong.
that.
Damn. All right, bro.
I do not-
Hey, we're going to bookmark this, Paul. This goes in the Larks hype video. I'm telling you right now. Like, I'm,
Put that clip in the hype video.
yeah, I'm putting this
Paul's
clip in there.
saying-
Yeah.
I do
So,
not think Jon Heite picked Bracton because of the roster today. I think he picked Bracton because he is foreseeing a blow up in Bismarck.
I just did that.
How's
So,
that
I
worse than
hope
what
I don't
I
have to
said?
do it
Or better
again.
than what I said?
Like, no, it's
Bracton,
not.
you do it
Like,
2 to 3 times a year, so I mean it's probably gonna happen again, and I'm excited for it to
I'm
happen.
only
again.
stating the fact, and
Yo,
so is
Yeah.
Cody.
Bracton, everyone's
But
dunking on you, man.
Paul, we made a podcast for you deciding to rebuild. I was looking at our what do you call it? Our YouTube channel the other day, and it's
you
like
remember when that
Paul's
happened,
rebuilding?
Bracton?
Question mark? Question mark? Like,
I traded
it's-
Jose Ramirez. I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it was
Jose
crazy.
Ramirez trade sparked the podcast.
everybody trades on a dime, man. It's not just me.
Listen,
Like-
Well, it didn't really work out, but whatever. The fact of the matter is, we agree. Cody and I separately agree. That's what you do. It's not. We're not saying it's bad,
Right.
but that is what you do. Like
All
you'll
right.
Where
buy
you
them
roll.
and then you'll sell.
All right.
Braxton, the first week is always an extended week. It's like two weeks in one. If you lose that matchup by 300 points, you will nuke your team before week 2.
That's just not true.
That's a great point.
So
You will, dude.
And
All right.
listen, we're not the ones that picked you first. But go to Jon Heite. Jon Heite, he needs to be in the
No,
video, not us.
Oh, everybody's going to be in the video. It's okay.
Okay. Hendog.
Yeah.
If you had the first pick, we put your fate in my wife's hands, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But if you had the first pick, who were you taking?
I was going to take Braxton.
Yeah. All right.
But I will say this, I'll play a little devil's advocate for a second. I won't completely dunk on Braxton. There are some high-end pieces that he has that I'm not entirely sure if other teams do have. Like, I think Nolan McLean, if all goes right, could he be a top 10 to 15 pitcher next year? There are a couple of teams that don't have a top 10 to 15 pitcher in their rotation. We saw what Miz had, Kate Horton. Look, I would have picked you first, Braxton. There's no sugarcoating it. I do think there are some pieces here, though. I'll play a little devil's advocate.
Just don't trade him. Don't trade him.
I'm not going to. You know how many people hit me up a day about all these
Ignore
pitchers?
him. Turn
I
your phone
do.
off.
Dude, when was the last time I made a trade here? I can't share my screen, but what do you call it? I genuinely don't know the last time I made a trade in this league. I have a team. It's going to be the same team until opening day, and we'll see what happens. So
We'll see. Time will tell.
Until even April.
All right. Keep dunking. Jon Heite's back on the clock.
All right. Back on track. Hendog.
Or
Second
Hendog,
pick.
sorry.
Second overall pick, I'm taking Smell. I think this is pretty logical. I thought last year there was a clear divide between the two worst teams and, the next group. Smell has some pieces, but, he doesn't really have that, superstar bat. Doesn't really have that superstar arm. His pitching rotation, I'll say this, I think his rotation's worse than Braxton's. Like, I would take McLean, Miz, and potentially even Kate Horton over any pitcher Smell has. Shane McClanahan's kind of injured. Sheehan might not be the guy starting that rotation. So I think Smell is clearly the 11th or 13th best team in this league, excuse me. Him and Braxton are kind of in that bottom tier.
Okay. How do you feel about that pick? Smell second.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of agreed that that's what we thought would be the first pick. So, yeah, Smell's going to own the draft and own, even picks or not, he can trade those picks. He's still going to own it. So, yeah, obviously it's not going to be a forever thing, and I like a lot of his prospects a lot. So, yeah, I think he's either the worst or second worst roster, but it's definitely a roster on the rise.
Braxton, do you agree?
Yeah, I believe in Smell, the owner, though. Like, if he knows what he can get for these picks. I traded most of the picks that ended up getting to him, either directly to him or some other way. So I'm excited to see what he does. I think he'll make some stuff happen. He's blowing me up about Kate Horton. He's one of them. I'll just say that. But Kate Horton's not going anywhere for now. So
Till April.
we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. So I do. And I stated this before Hen and Height got on. I did not think Smell should go first or second, or probably even third. I actually do like where his team's at. I think he's got a ton of room to get better. I just happen to see a couple, maybe one or two other rosters to me that I think are worse that I would rather play. But that's just my opinion on there. Okay, Jon Heite, who's next in your division?
Yeah, so next in my division, I was torn between two teams. But for me, it came down to just a couple of reasons. But I'm going to pick Scott for the second team in my division. So it'll be Braxton and Scott. so far. Scott definitely has some good pieces to work with. Obviously, he's got Jim Wood, who's one of the most valuable bats or dynasty bats overall. Got a couple of decent arms that are projected. Around the sweet spot is like 20 points per game. A couple of them projected that. Um, I'm not going to say what the other team is yet because I'm going to wait to see who Hen picks. But this is a team that, again, also on the rise, very young. Obviously loves to trade, has some good prospects as well. Like McConnell could be up sometime this year, maybe. Eldridge obviously is a question mark, but we'll see what happens. That could be a big addition for him this year, especially to his offense. But Scott's a team that I've always enjoyed playing against in the past, and I think could ignite a new rivalry within my division, which is why I wanted to go with him for the
Or
second
you can
pick.
get an old one back and pick Paul with your next pick, and then we can have that rivalry.
We're not there yet, dude. Just wait. One step at a time.
So yes, Scott was my pick for the first pick. That if I was doing the draft, that's who I would have taken. I think, I say this all the time, but I'm sure if you Jon Heite and Hen has looked over rosters, which I'm sure you have. You're doing this
Yes.
draft right now. I think like the league is in like a really good position in terms of like I don't see any teams that are just horrendously barren. And so it seems like I'm like banging on Scott, but I guess when I look at it, I don't see a whole lot there to me that makes it seem like he's going to be any more competitive than he was last year. With like Smell's team and especially Braxton's team, I just see a whole lot of growth from where they were last year, I guess, is where I come from. Braxton, what do you think about Scott going right here?
I don't have anything else to add. You guys pretty much hit the nail on the head.
Okay, AJ Hawk. Paul, what do you think about Scott going right here?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give a little more than Braxton. Yeah, Scott's team probably would have been my second pick. Put that in your little video there, Braxton. Because I would have taken you third. I think there's a lot to like. I think about Scott's roster, but it's just not really at the pro level as much. James Wood, obviously very good player, and he's got decent pitching. Edward Cabrera, Mitch Keller, but those aren't really like aces. Those are more like SP3/4s. So there's definitely good talent coming, but roster wise, immediate wise, 2026 wise, it's one of the bottom rosters, I would say.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, Hendog. Who goes fourth? Who's next?
So I actually wouldn't have taken Scott third. I would have taken this guy who I'm about to take right now, and it's Tita. I had Tita as my third projected team. It's not an indictment on Tita as an owner. I think he's a very good owner. This team has. I was saying like there's a couple teams who don't have a player as good as Jacob Mizorowski or Noel McLean. I think Tita is one of those teams. He's got some good, decent players. Like obviously we could see an Austin Riley bounce back. I like Jonathan Aranda. Brent Rooker's pretty solid, but I think he's kind of at his peak. But he doesn't have a game changer. His assets he's working with isn't really a lot. There's no indictment on Tita as an owner. I think Tita's a great owner, and he could make something of this potentially. But his starting pitching is really not that good either. I'm taking Tita over, or I'm taking Scott's like outlook this year and for the future over Tita. Because at least Scott's got James Wood, Kevin McGonigal could be something. He's got a couple of pieces that like you could really like hope on. I don't really see that with Tita.
Braxton, what do you think about Tita going right there?
I think it's interesting because, like we said, we know Tita the owner, and I just don't see him having another bad year after this year. Like I think that he's going to be hovering around 500, or even that first year when he came in, he won like 10 games. And we were all like, how did he win 10 games? He won 10 games. So I don't know. I think drafting Tita the person this early, I wouldn't have done that, in my opinion. But
Paul, what do you think?
I'd say the exact same thing. I think his roster doesn't scream success. His best projected pitcher is Matthew Boyd.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem, and it's a problem. I'm sure that come January, February, I'm sure Tita is going to be working it. But that's exactly why I think it's a pick or two early for Tita. I'd be terrified to play. I mean, I think I was in his division. Um, I'd be terrified to play him twice a year just because that those two games you're just going to be in hell. Like I know last year he gave me a loss early in the year. The second go around, I think I beat him, but I mean, both times it's like the Nashville Sounds are on your schedule. It's not a fun time. I think, and that's regardless of who he has on his team.
For sure. I know, like, anytime Tito was in a matchup last year with a team that was like consensus better than him, right? So if he was playing Height or Hen or myself or Paul or, any team like that, that dude was throwing the kitchen sink at. He would be 4 or 5 trades a night, getting guys in to use for one day and then trading that night. And it was like, it's very difficult to play. So, from Hen's viewpoint, looking at his roster today, I agree with the decision, especially when you look at the pitching, because you're right, Paul. The pitching is brutally bad right now. The bats, I think, are fine. I don't think you need offense really to win. I think you can just win with pitching, but you can't win with bad pitching. And his pitching is terrible. That being said, as Paul mentioned, Tita is a nightmare to play because if your team has that midweek where you score 620 points, you're struggling to kind of get to 650, he may beat you with nobody. So yeah, but anyways, yeah, we'll move on. Height, who's your next pick, man?
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to add one more point to you guys for that last because I was saying I was between Scott and another team. The team was obviously Tita. Um,
Okay.
you guys said that his team will be completely different on a week to week basis. Also, to be honest, I've always been scarred by him after he was the loss when I lost my undefeated streak in the league.
Right.
So I'd rather Hen deal with that twice a year than me do that again. So that was
Okay.
like also like not like a crazy reason why I did it, but like back in my mind, like yeah, if there's a way to avoid that, I don't even want to go down that road. So which is why even though Scott has the better roster right now, I wanted to pick Scott there.
Understood.
Yeah, but anyway, next pick. I'm gonna go with Dave for my third pick. So my division is now Bracton, Scott, and Dave. We're now getting to the part of the draft where I mean we're getting into some really really good teams. Um, Kind of dreading having to face Scooble now twice a year. Obviously Hunter Brown as well. He really revamped his pitching last season, which was a big emphasis for him, which is why he really started to win games. Um, because you look at his bats, definitely a little bit weaker compared to the pitching side of things. Because again, I think he really won some games last year because of the pitching, and like we said, that's such an important part of this league. Um, for me personally, as someone who's drafting this division, I feel like my bats can do enough of a good job. The two times I play him to overcome the pitching, like because Schoolbook could have a bad start or maybe not even start in a week. Crazy things happen with the pitching sort of thing. But if it's my bats versus his bats, I feel pretty confident. Not to say he has bad bats or anything. I just obviously like mine, which is why I went with Dave here. And just got to hope that Schoolboy and Hunter Brown and those guys just don't, get thrown the kitchen sink at me the weeks I play them this year, excuse me.
For sure, for sure. And Paul, what do you think about Dave getting picked right here?
Yeah, probably about right. Um, I mean, I kind of differ with you. I think bats do matter a lot more than maybe you do, Cody. Uh, Michael Bush being his highest projected bat. I mean, I think Riley Green's the better bat, and he's just right under him. But the bats overall kind of lacking a little bit. But I mean, it's been said: Scooble, Brown, even Shane Baz, Jose Barrios. You know, that's a pretty good staff. I think it's probably the best staff that's been selected so far. Um, Not much going in the pitching department besides those few guys. But I think stars matter a little bit more than depth when it comes to pitching. And I think it might be the other way around when it comes to bats. So yeah, I think this is probably about right for Dave. I think he was a borderline playoff team last year, and I think he'll be right there again come this year.
Yeah, I would agree. And, I think really, and Height mentioned it, we're at the point of the draft where every team being selected is a quality team that I believe is going to be competing for a playoff spot. For Dave, he sold off at the deadline last year. He was actually one of the only teams that did. And I noticed he really hung on to the pitching. He sold the bats. I think in his mind, the bats are easier to come across, and pitching's harder to get back once you sell off. But John Height mentioned it. Playing Scooble and Hunter Brown twice a year is not ideal, but the bats do leave a little to be desired, especially when your best bat's Riley Green and he strikes out 250 times a year. So, yeah, Braxton, do you have any thoughts about Dave going right here?
Dave, if you're listening to all them dump on Riley Green, man, send me a call because I will happily take Riley Green on my team. But like
I
I
said
like I
Riley
said,
Green better than Bush.
Yeah.
yeah, but like it,
I just think he strikes out a lot. But
okay, well, so does Aaron Judge. Like Riley Green's a dog. I would take
Oh my
him on my
God.
team any day.
Bruh.
Spare me.
Like whatever, it is what it is. Who's
Trolling
next?
Aaron
okay,
Judge
he
for Yankees
dog.
fans.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Up next, this is kind of a difficult decision for me. Like I thought Dave was pretty firmly in the 5 spot, but I think I'm gonna go with Connor here. Obviously I know about the assets. He has like 20 picks in the upcoming 20, 25 picks, 30 picks in the upcoming draft. He has 70 prospects right now. But I think right now a lot of teams are in a position where we can obviously see a blow up at any point, but Connor has all these assets, but it doesn't feel like, especially if we've seen over the past year, teams aren't really selling as much as they used to. Like it seems like people are selling in more. Obviously, we still have blockbuster trades, but the major league roster for Connor right now is significantly worse than Chad's. Obviously, Chad has Paul Skeens, who I would say now is inarguably the best pitcher in baseball. Maybe Schoolball's in that conversation, but I think Skeens is better. And then for the bats, it's Connor's really only have J-Rod, and then the RMC has nothing that compares to Paul Skeens. I go with Connor, and I think their asset numbers, while Connor obviously has the advantage, I think Chad isn't, as far off, or he's probably has the second most or third most behind Smell.
Braxton, any thoughts to the first playoff team being selected?
Um, I think it's pretty interesting because a common theme of this has just been looking at the people themselves as opposed to teams, and I guess we're going to be keeping this alignment for the next couple years. So if Connor has these prospects develop and come up quickly, or if he decides to use this treasure chest on actual really elite players, then we could be talking about a completely different looking team here. So it's an interesting pick for sure.
Yeah, and Paul, do you have any thoughts about Connor being selected here?
Yeah, I mean it's first playoff team selected, but I think unless I'm wrong, I guess Chad right is the only non-playoff team left. Is that right?
Jab didn't
Yes.
make the playoffs.
Or jab.
Jab and Chad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think Connor's got a good base. Having J Rod, having Seager with the bats. That's a good start. Obviously, he can fill in a little bit there, but he has all the prospects in the world to do so. Papayat is a good pitcher to have, but obviously Connor knows it's pitching that he'll need to go by if he wants to jump into that top tier. Um, I don't know what his plan is. I know he and Smell are going to run this draft. Um, again, whether it's making picks or making trades, it's going to run through them. So I'm interested to see how that ends up. But I I think between Chad and Connor in terms of the next pick. I could definitely see it going either way, but I think this is a good spot for Connor.
Yeah, Connor's team is so interesting to me. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about him being an easy beat because we all know what he did to me in the playoffs. That being said, Connor's team is so interesting to me because I feel like he's in the perfect opportunity to buy whatever asset that he wants. The issue is, and Hen mentioned this earlier in the podcast, like selling is just around here anymore. And I remember last year, Paul, you and I discussed, after the All Star break leading up to our trade deadline, you and I discussed numerous, like, we have 11, 12 teams that think they have a playoff shot. Like, what team is going to bow out and sell? And none of them did but Dave. Like, truly sell, like, nobody did. And, and so that kind of opened my eyes to be like, I don't think anybody is going to choose to necessarily sell off, which puts Connor in kind of a weird spot with the way that he's acquired so many assets. The way that I view those assets, because I view them as trade pieces to buy and bring in other things. Connor may have a completely different plan. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I feel like his team's in a super interesting spot. I think it's in a great spot, but it's an interesting spot. If a team decides, hey, I am behind, I'm gonna have to sell whoever that may be. Connor can be first in line, in my opinion, with the picks, and I mean, he can just out volume you in a trade battle. So yeah, I think for this year, I think Ken made the right pick. Braxton brought up the point. This is for 2 years. I'm not so sure that pick's going to look great in 2027, but in 2026, I do think it's fair. I think on paper, Chad does have the better team right now. So I think Chad has a really, really, really good team. I'm not sure that I would even be deciding between Chad and Connor. But anyways, we'll move on. Jon Height, who is your next pick?
Well, I am going to go with Chad with my next pick here. For me, it was also between Chad and Connor around this spot. Two great owners and two teams with obviously great futures. Connor has all the draft capital. And, me, I kind of like an idiot because I'm willingly choose to go against Scooble and Skeens now, twice a year apiece. But when I look at Chad's team, he's obviously got a ton of pieces. He's a very active owner, so he's going to make his team better throughout the year, especially if he's within striking distance of a playoff spot. But I think there's really two big guys on his team that are sort of going to make or break his season this year. And like if Braxton said, if this goes a little bit longer, I don't know what they're going to be like in 2027. And it's actually a pitcher and a hitter. The hitter is Mike Trout, and the pitcher is DeGrom. Those are two guys that obviously have the pedigree. They're two future Hall of Famers. Two of the best ever at their positions. But obviously, there's a ton of injury risk with both of them. And I think they're two really important parts of Chad's team. And I'm willing to take the risk at this point. I might eat my words here. When I'm versing them, if I'm versing Chad twice in a year, maybe one of them is really late. Maybe Trout is hurt again. You obviously hope not. I'm not rooting for injury, but it's just a possibility that a guy like Trout or DeGrom could be unavailable towards the end of the season, just based off their track record. But Chad has a great squad. Going to be some battles like it always is. Me and him always have tough matchups. We usually sometimes even start the season against each other too. But Chad will be my next pick because of those reasons.
Can I hop
Paul,
in
do you
just
have
for a second?
about Chad going there? Hold on, Hen, did you say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on something because it's funny when I was considering. I just want to kind of give some insight. I'll be real quick. When I was considering Chad and Connor's team, Jon Height, Mike Trout
Yeah.
was not even a factor for me because my view of him right now is just he might give you 2 good months. Like he might be able to help you out weeks,
Yeah.
3 through 8. Like he wasn't even consideration. Like I'm not even like regarding him. Like I was looking more like Langford, Turner, Matt
Yeah.
Olson. and obviously
No,
Skeens. But
those guys will be there, but I think DeGrom is more of a threat right now than Mike Trout, obviously. But still, they're it was a part of my thought process just because they're high pedigree guys and we know their track record. So I'll take my chances in a given year just based off their previous health. That's all.
I just don't think he'll be available. Like I wouldn't even count on him. That's what I was saying. Like
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
looking at other players but him.
I hope he is. I'm not rooting for injury, but no, you're right. There's a chance he just won't be at all.
Yeah, and Chad, it was really interesting because I was trying like hell to trade for Jacob DeGrom at the deadline last year. I don't know if any of you any playoff teams were in on that, but and Chad had the firmest price he wanted for DeGrom. He did not budge off that price. I called his bluff. I thought he got closer to the end of it that he would come down to my price, and he definitely did not even consider doing that. And so yeah, him holding him and having him this year looks awesome. But then you look at his age, look at the injury history. How much is he going to get out of him? So, and Hen's got a great point. Do you even factor those guys in to what Chad's kind of building over there? I don't know, but I do know if he gets superstar level performance out of those two, that boosts Chad up really high. So, Braxton, do you have any thoughts on Chad's team?
No, you guys pretty much hit it. I'm trying to speed it up a little bit because we're already at 41 minutes. So
Okay. You just gonna AJ Hawk it? We got you, dude. No worries. You got it, man. You're killing it.
For the sake of the
Paul,
listeners, man.
for the sake of the listeners, yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, do you have any thoughts on Chad's team? And
Yeah, I'll make it quick though. Trey Savage obviously popped, playoff
Yeah.
run, World Series, huge pitcher for Chad to go with Paul Skeens. So yeah, I think because he has DeGrom, because he has Nate Eovaldi, pretty old pitchers, I think his team's success might depend more so on the depth versus the stars in terms of pitching. But Chad's a really good team. I think he'll be in the playoffs.
for sure. And Hendog, who's the next pick, man?
I'll speed this up a bit, but I think there's another tier here. You're looking at like true legitimate like playoff teams flirting with contention, but I've been known as a hater of this guy, but I'll give him his flowers the way he's kind of built his team last year. I'm going with Homko. I'm now looking at, I was looking before at kind of established stars. Now I'm looking at superstar, like game changers. I really only see one on the offensive end in Junior Caminero, and on the defensive end, or not defensive end, excuse me, on the pitching front, you're dreaming on a Mackenzie Gore being that kind of a guy. Yuri Perez is probably the closest right now. Obviously has a lot of great players, a lot of talent. We're now looking at superstars, and I would say Homko probably has the least of their main teams left on the board.
Yeah. So, and I just want to touch on this real quick. That was who I would take before Chad. Even I think Chad's got a better roster than Homko. I want to say, if you guys remember last off season, we did a schedule reveal podcast, and it was unanimous. Homco had the toughest schedule when we did that podcast. I mean, we were all laughing about it. It was just like week after week, like we would reveal a week and it'd be like, dude, Homco's playing the toughest matchup. It is crazy to me because looking back on last year, I think he actually played the easiest schedule. He literally was like second or third last in points against. I think that has to do with his inflated win-loss record. So that's why I would kind of probably bring him back. I think he's a playoff team. I think Chad is. But I'd probably, for 2026, put Chad a little ahead of Homco personally. Paul, did you have any thoughts on Homco going here?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say. I mean, Yuri Perez is probably the closest thing that Hamko has to an ace. I mean, Dylan Cease, obviously a very good pitcher. We'll see how he fares with Toronto. Gavin Williams is a guy, to dream on, as the guys already said. But he's never actually really done it, whether it's injury, whether it's whatever the case may be. I just don't think he has that star in terms of a pitcher, and I think that's kind of what you need in order to be in that top tier. But bats wise, Cam is a star. Um, Springer had a great year, but he's getting older. Pajes, we'll see what he becomes. Merrill took a step back last year, still a very good player. So yeah, I can't forget Naylor, but his bats are there. It's can he find a second ace, or can Yuri Perez become that ace? I think is the key for Humko.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jon Heite, who is left? Is there 4 teams left to pick from?
There's 4, yeah.
Who are they?
It's, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's Paul, Jack, Jab, and you?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that right?
Paul, Jack, Jab, and me. Okay. All right, Jon Heite, next pick. Who
Yeah.
is it?
And I'll be quicker from that one. My bad for running a little bit long before.
No,
Um,
not at all.
my next pick, I'm gonna go with Jack. Even though he actually owned me in the regular season last year, it was, and I'll explain my full reasoning once some of the other teams are revealed. But for me, Jack, obviously, disgusting rotation. I mean, when these guys, and it's a big question mark if they're healthy. Top 2 to 3 rotation in the league, and regular season matchups, that obviously goes a long way because of how important pitching is. Um, but for me, I think that there is somewhat right now of a concern for his bats. You have guys like Freddie Freeman, Jose Altuve, guys who are like 35 plus. Those are 2 big bats in his lineup. They're a year older. You don't know when they're gonna eventually. They're not gonna be bums or anything, but maybe not the production that we're used to from them. Um, I just feel like his offense is a little bit more beatable at this stage compared to some of the teams that are still on the board. Again, I'll take my chances with the pitching, even though it's really good. I'll probably still at least split with him at the very least this year. I don't think I could beat him twice in a season, but I just think he's just slightly more beatable than the other teams because of the bats as they currently stand. Now, he might use this as incentive and trade for more bats in the offseason because he's got plenty of assets, especially some more bats coming up, like Weatherhole will be up probably this year, obviously Cole Emerson. So he's going to get an influx of talent. I just don't know how good they're going to be right away, and if that's going to be that big a deal for this year. Could also be a big deal for 27, like we said, if this is a couple of years. But that was my main thought process behind Jack right here.
Yeah, Jack is definitely a focus on pitching. He showed that last year when he kind of acquired all that talent. That's a big focus of his, and that's going to be tough to beat because again, I tend to lean more that if you've got the good pitching, you can win. And of course, it's good to have bats too, but Jack's pitching is really tough. Paul, what do you think about Jack going right here?
Yeah, it's kind of like a glass shatter moment for me because I always thought, yeah, Jack, great roster, top to bottom, bats, arms, but really, if you look at his bats, his top 4 projected bats, according to Fantrax, obviously, which you never know, but Freddie Freeman, who's 36,
Hmm.
Michael Garcia, who's been a utility guy. I know last year he had an awesome year, but is last year what you're going to get out of him? Willie
Right.
Adames, 30, you know, uh, he did well last year for sure, and I like him. And then Byron Buxton, who is on the IL historically, career is on the IL, once a month. Um, I mean, that being your 4 best bats, I think there's definitely something to look at there. But obviously, the arms are very good, up and coming as well with Roki Sasaki. Um, so yeah, I definitely think that of the 4 teams that are left, I would also take Jack first of that 4. That's not to say that his team is bad, but I think the bats are a lot more concerning. The deeper you look into them.
I just want to point out really quick that Jack really never had his full complement of pitchers last year because they all got hurt. Like he literally had a IL full of pitchers that would be better than most people's rotation. So we're evaluating his pitching as a unit, but he never had that full unit last year, and he still made the playoffs, and I think was a top 4 seed. So I agree with everything you guys said about the bats, though, but this full group of pitching is going to be a problem if they actually all stay healthy at the same time.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Yeah, and I think right now listen, every one of these teams you don't want them in your division, but you have to pick somebody, right? Um, So, Hendog, you're next, man. Who's
Ye-
the next?
Yeah, I'm just gonna give a quick thought on Jack real quick, but
For sure.
it was interesting talking about like his pitching, and I know it's been an issue, but last year at the deadline, it felt like such a need for him to get pitching. And I was very confused why he didn't because he had, I think, some assets to kind of move out there. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I had him as the fourth team now. And like you guys are saying, you're basically looking at teams that are vying for a championship this year. It's going to be a tough out regardless. I'm going to go with Paul with my next pick. Obviously, these are all great teams, but my my decision making is more on the high end guys. Obviously Ellie's a superstar, but there was a step back he took from the previous year. Jackson Churio, we're really waiting for him to kind of break through to that next level. Um, Obviously both immensely talented players who have a lot of potential, but there isn't as much guarantees I see with the other two teams. And then for the arms, a lot of really good number twos. I mean, I think Hunter Green's an ace, but Logan Webb's probably an SP2 on a championship team. Same with Gilbert and Kirby. I think the big X factor for him is going to be Mason Miller, whether or not he actually goes to the starting rotation and gets built up as a starter, or if he just remains a bullpen dude.
Yeah. So, Paul, how do you feel, man? You finally got selected. Do you think did you go later than you thought, earlier than you thought? What's your thoughts on where you were taken?
Probably about right. I largely agree with what Hen just said. Um, I like my team more than anybody. Um, Ellie, I think's a superstar. I think Churio's a superstar. I think Contreras is a top three catcher. Soderstrom, I think that was his floor last year of what a player he can be. Um, I like my arms a lot more than a lot of people do. I think I have three aces on my team between Green, Gilbert, and Kirby. I think those guys are three aces, and Webb's a very high level number two. Um, having and we didn't talk about Nick Liddell either. So I think having those guys, um, I think is really important when it comes to pitching. Competing in this league, I think you have to have at least one or two aces. I think I do. I understand people might not think that, but I think a lot will also hinge on Luis Robert, what kind of player he can be for the White Sox, assuming he stays with the White Sox. I think that's a key for me. But the last thing I'll say is I really like the youth that I have with my bats. Jackson Holliday's 22, Colson Montgomery 23, Ellie 23, Churio's 21, Soderstrom's 24, Kobe Mayo, I don't know what he's ever going to be. Hopefully he's something. 24. So I know that maybe they're not 1,000 point guys, all of them, but I think youth has a lot to do with the future of this team. So yeah, I think purely roster wise, I'm probably in that 5-6 area. But we'll see. Hopefully I can make a couple moves here and there, shore up some depth, and kind of try and make another run at this.
Yeah, and I'll be quick, Paul. I think your team is phenomenal. I think that I'm biased, but I've told you numerous times, our teams I feel like are in the best position long term to be successful with like the age of the guys that we have. One thing that I think that you've got a leg up on me with is when I bought at the deadline last year. I really like burned through some prospects. I'm down to like five dudes right now. You've still got some, I'm not sure what your numbers at, what, 15, 16 prospects owned?
Yeah, it's 14.
14. So okay. So you've still got some buying power where I'm basically like tapped out right now, hoping to acquire some over the off season. But that being said, yeah, Paul, I think your team's excellent. I think all the teams left are excellent. I mean, who would I pick here? I don't know. Jab's team is unreal. I cannot believe Jab missed the playoffs. It's the craziest thing. I mean, Jab's team is absolutely loaded. And so, yeah, man, tough decisions here. I'll turn it back over to Jon Heite. Your last division mate, Jon Heite. Who is it?
Yeah, so obviously definitely a tough decision. The two teams remaining being Jab and Cody yourself. I mean, two of the best teams in the league from top to bottom. I am going to pick Jab here. Obviously, I mean, it's picking between him. Cody has Bobby Witt. Jab's got Gunnar Henderson and Tucker. Like, the stars are galore. So if you compare the stars, it's ridiculous. But I'm going to put more of, and this isn't a knock on Jab, it's just because I think also Cody's just such a, a little bit more active owner. And overall, he's been, he knows how to win in this league. Obviously, during the regular season, he's been really close to winning in the playoffs. So he's going to make the moves possible throughout the season to make the team I'm looking at right now even better. I think Jab can also do that, but I think Cody will go a little bit further. Like Cody just said, he traded most of his prospects last season. He's going to get more guys, I'm sure, before opening day, and then probably even flip those again if he's in a good spot to contend in the playoffs to make that team better. But two absolute powerhouses. Again, I mean, now you look at my division, I have to go against Scooble, Skeens, and Crochet twice a year. Between so 6 times between those three guys, it's going to be definitely a gauntlet in the pitching department. I am sort of banking on some of the pitching, the volatility of the position, like we've talked about, how anything can happen on a given week, but overall, it'll help you during the regular season. I really just don't want to play Cody twice a year too. It's just not a knock on Jab. I would rather play Cody more that second time against Cody being hopefully in the playoffs than twice in the regular season. Because for me personally, I don't know where my team's going to be towards the end of the year. I'm obviously hoping to be in playoff position, but in terms of seeding and stuff, if I'm in that realm, a second matchup against Cody could sink me within a second, which I don't even want to go down that road, which is why I'm picking the powerhouse and Jab.
So, Paul, if you were a GIF right now, you would be that one where the guy's like Cedric Mullins, I can't escape him.
Yes. Yes.
Because that means that you and I are in the same division again. Yeah.
Yay.
So, no, listen, I'll touch on Jab again. I said it before. Jab's team is incredible, dude. His team is loaded. I have no idea how he missed the playoffs. Definitely, personally glad he's not in my division. But yeah, Jab's got a great team. Paul, do you have any more thoughts?
Not particularly. Garrett Crochet's a dog. Chase Burns is the next Garrett Crochet. And he's got them both, so that's not super fun to deal with. Gunnar Henderson's my guy. He also has Pete Alonso. I just saw that. So I'll trade Jab if you're listening. I might just trade rosters with you if you're up for it. So
one thing I want to add is the silent killer on his team is Christian Campbell. Like, he was so hyped up last year, come up, was terrible, wrote off. I'm telling you that the story's not over on Christian Campbell. He's gonna affect a lot of ball games for Jab this year. Hen, I'll turn it over to you, man. I'll let you finish this off.
No, yeah, I mean, I would have taken you. You were last on my board. Obviously, the regular season champ the last 2 years. First time we're in the same division, so it'll be interesting. If I really want to say, like, obviously, we know how good your team is, and we know it's kind of just the crapshoot of 1 week baseball where some guy who could usually be very good just ends up not performing well in a 1 week sample. That's the nature of the game. That's how it is in real life. If there's any flaws, I would say on your roster, Novelli Marte third base. I'll see. It's kind of interesting to see, if he takes that next leap. I still don't know exactly what his health's like, but the talent's obviously there. And then, obviously after your 5 best pitchers, I think there's a little more volatility. But if there's volatility at your SP6, you're doing something good.
Yeah, don't sleep on Matt Shaw for my third baseman.
No, you're right. Matt Shaw is someone who, I could definitely see having a bounce back, getting your acclimated with the Cubs. I could definitely see him, living up to that prospect pedigree he had going into last year.
Yeah, for sure. Third base is definitely a hole on my roster. I had Isaac Paredes, Isak Paredes, however you say it. Last year he got hurt, and I traded him, and then it was kind of like a mixed bag of I got lucky on Colson Montgomery. Like who would have thought he was going to come up and hit like 30 bombs in a month? And then I had Matt Shaw still, who struggled last year, but still very young. Me and Paul made a trade, Noel V. Marte for Colson Montgomery. I don't know what I'm going to do at third base yet. I tried to kind of see if Smell would let go of Alex Bregman. I was kind of shooting there to see what would happen, and didn't work out. But I'm looking around at some options. But yeah, third base is definitely a hole. I think my pitching is ridiculous personally, but I can understand there is some volatility there. But I think there's volatility everywhere. And I think a big thing for me in my pitching is going to be Strider. What like is does he go back to a Strider or is he mid Strider? So that's going to be a big thing. But yeah, so we've got our division set. I'll go over those with you all guys real quick. Let me pull them up here. So in Jon Heite's division, it is going to be Jon Heite, Jab, Jack, Chad, Dave, Scott, and Bracton. So if we look at the 2025 season, there is from last year. Two. That would be Jack and Jon Height. All the other five playoff teams are all in the other division. And that division is Hendog, myself, Paul, Pomco, Connor, Ita, and Smell. So, Paul, I'm going to let you touch on this before we wrap up here. What do you think about the divisions? Do you think one's necessarily tougher than the other? What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think that's hell. I think our division's hell. I mean, Tita, playing Tita twice a year. I already went over that. Smells team's rising. Connor's team is rising. Between those two are like they own all the prospects. Those two teams, I feel like. Um, obviously you, Hen, Hamko, who has a really good team as well. I'm already planning on how crazy Hamko's schedule is, because he has to play those 6 teams twice.
Right.
So yeah, I mean I know that at the end of the day it's a pretty balanced. I know the playoff teams aren't balanced, but roster wise, because I definitely think um, Jack's team's very good. Chad missed the playoffs, but easily could be a playoff team. Same with Dave, with the other division. So yeah, Bracton, who knows what we'll get. Um, Scott's team isn't too bad either. So you said it earlier. There's no teams that are like barren. There's no
Right.
chalk the win up. That's a win.
I
Um,
don't think there is.
yeah, I agree with you. So it's hard to say. It's December. There's a lot of stuff that needs to play out between now and April, but I definitely think that it's going to be an interesting year with this division. Because I mean, you look at that division. Let's say 3 teams don't make the playoffs. Who are those 3 teams?
Like right now, if I had to predict it,
That's for everybody.
Smell and
Everybody.
yeah, I would say Smell and Tita, and then either Homco or Connor.
That's tough, man.
Tough.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And then in Heights division, I don't think Bracton makes the playoffs this year. I don't think Scott makes the playoffs. I don't think Dave makes the playoffs. But that's it. I mean, that like, I guess you could say I'm quote certain of would be Bracton, Scott, and Dave, and then Smell and Tita. So that means that, again, there's 9 or so teams I feel confident has a chance at the playoffs. Braxton, do you have any thoughts on?
I'm really happy that I get to be in a division with Jack for the first time since we were in high school. I think that's pretty fun. And obviously, Jon Heite, like you said, one of my best friends. And we'll be sending you guys pictures from Saturday night's main event in 2 nights. So, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think Hendog, I'm gonna let you talk for a second. We of course you had the disadvantage. You picked after Jon Height, but I want to know, how do you feel about your division and how it looks? It's kind of consensus. It's the toughest one. What are your thoughts?
Obviously, fate was up in the hands of your wife, and I got the second pick. But I obviously,
That's who's all
I
blame
picked,
here.
yeah. I mean, most of the picks kind of went the way I thought they were going to. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Brackton, the worst team, I think, being in one division, doesn't doesn't swing matters in my favor. But I like the way I drafted. Iron sharpens iron. I want to play the best to be the best. So really get to see the limit. How good my team is each and every week. I can't really complain. I drafted the way I thought things were going to shake out, and I can't complain. I got a title to defend. It's going to be a tough week every week, no matter what.
For sure, for sure. You move down to Georgia, you start to take after the SEC. I get it. I understand.
Exactly. It just matters more.
Look at Paul. Look at Paul. He loves it. It just.
Oh God.
Can we name our division the SEC, please?
No. Veto.
I'd be down.
It just means more, Paul.
No.
Jon Heite, what do you see?
More losses for him?
Jon Heite, you touch on your division. We kind of think you did a good job. You got a walk in the park. What are your thoughts with how your division looks?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, again, big thank you to your wife, because this, like, I think if the roles were reversed, it would have been somewhat similar. I think me and Hen have a similar logic for a lot of things, especially in this league and some of the. So I think we would have been in different places here, but it's sort of like the NFL. It's any given Sunday. You really could lose to anyone in this league, no matter what. Teams are constantly changing, and I think just because of the variability of these teams. The owners especially wanting to trade each and every week and shoring up their rosters, it's really hard to predict where some of these teams are going to be like towards the end of the season. But it's going to be a gauntlet. I mean, Jab and Jack, two really difficult teams. Chad is right on the cusp. I think Dave is also on the cusp. You kind of ruled him out as a potential non-playoff team. I mean, he was still close, relatively close last year to a playoff spot, getting it because the pitching's there. Scott's on the rise. Brackton's on the rise. So it's going to be tough regardless. We're still going to be first in the other division once a year, and then obviously the playoffs is a whole other ball game. But I'm excited for it. Some new rivals. Him and Jack in the same division for the first time. So I've been with Jack before, obviously, but I don't think I've ever been in yours, Braxton, or if I did, it was maybe a long time ago. Yeah, I don't think we ever did. So that makes me happy that we have a new rivalry there, just because I think your team will be better last year than it was better this year than it was last year. So I'm excited for this upcoming season for this division. I don't want to name. Are we doing team names now or division names now, or is that going to be later on?
No, we keep division names the same.
Okay, yeah, that works. So, yeah.
John, you're trying to go for what, the Hideki Matsui division? Is that what you're going to go for?
the Team Japan division. We could do that if you guys want. Yeah.
Braxton, you know your division now. Can you win your division?
I don't think I can win my division, but I think I can be competitive and make the playoffs for sure. I feel like if I'm where I'm think I am, that I'll be hovering around that 6, 7, 8 seed. So we'll see.
Braxton, what will the Larks do this year?
Be competitive and be competent. That I can promise.
The Larks will fly.
So
unlike the New York Jets.
Oh God, they know how much I'm a huge believer in Aaron Glenn and who want to fly with the Jets. Yeah, 100%. I got my Jets Super Bowl ring right here. So what do you call it? We John, actually both of you guys. You got to get you some rings or some belts or something with JLML League champion on it. That would be pretty cool.
Ooh.
I'm the active belt holder.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be
All right, let's
interesting.
get two rings then.
Braxton, you should distance your fantasy team from the Jets as much as humanly
Oh,
possible.
I'm trying. I didn't bring up who want to fly with them Jets. That was
Yeah,
him, so.
that was my fault. No, I brought up the Jets. That was
Yeah.
my fault. My
Okay.
bad.
Well.
No,
Hey,
guys.
Mendoza's gonna take them to the promised land, though. I'm counting down the days until April where they can get Mendoza. It's gonna happen. I promise. And everybody's silent. Okay.
Mendoza is Mendoza's the one that's going to fix it all, right, Braxton?
Yeah. No, it is.
Just like Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
Sam
just
Darnold.
I was right about Sam
And
Darnold.
Fields
Like,
Just not on
and
your
Aaron
team.
Rodgers
and Mark
Mhm.
Sanchez and Chad
yeah,
Pennington.
and
Christian
insert name
Hackenberg.
here. Yeah.
And Justin Fields.
And Bryce Petty. And Josh McCown and Teddy Bridgewater and
Boyle.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, that was an awesome draft. A good podcast. We had originally planned when the draft concluded to talk about the Rule 5 draft, our thoughts and kind of where our heads were on that. We're going to actually postpone that tonight. We will announce kind of like an off-season podcast to discuss that and maybe touch on, the upcoming draft we're going to have in February. I would encourage you to listen to the Rule 5 draft podcast just because, we're all going to be sharing our opinions and thoughts on that. I'm going to kind of read over some of the stuff like that off the top of my head. Smell gave some opinions, Chad. There was a couple of thoughts there that I want to bring up and kind of just see if there is a window to figure something out with that. If not, we we move on. But I do want to talk about that on a podcast. But lastly, before we sign off, we're doing the College Bowl Pickle Mania. What should the prize be for who wins? Anybody can chime in with this. Whatever you think the prize should be.
The same as it was last year with the incentives or a free worst, whatever that was that we gave to Scott, where it was like, I know Yariel Rodriguez was in there, but that's not going to happen again. But like something like the points thing that we did, or a worst, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was.
That was for March Madness.
Oh shoot. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, and then Chad won it. Chad won it too.
Right.
Yeah, didn't he pick up Yariel Rodriguez with that? Wasn't that his exemption?
Yes.
That was
yeah.
That was a couple years ago, no?
Maybe it was. I think it was like 2 years ago.
I got my years mixed up or something. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Smell says whoever wins gets to pick one automatic win.
No.
No.
That's awesome, but no, please no.
Let's do like if you win, you get to pick one player off our belt holders team.
Oh.
What? No.
Yeah. Yes, do it.
Who's the belt holder? Someone said in this podcast, I can't remember.
It's Hen right now.
Hen's
Yeah.
the defending champion.
Can I give up the belt?
Bye, J-Ram. Say bye to J-Ram, Hen.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if what it should be. I mean, I don't want to do something stupid like a worst. Like,
I mean, I think the bowls are arbitrary anyway. I mean,
yeah, well,
I don't know. I'd say a worse is fitting, but I just because bowls are. I mean, sometimes people don't play. Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't
like,
Michigan play
different.
Texas? Is it Michigan versus Texas in the bowl game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is anybody here going to pick Michigan to win that game?
I think I did. I have to go look at that.
Of course you did.
Oh,
No, I did. I did 2 days ago before all the stuff happened.
Yeah,
So
see, I did too. I
hold on.
totally picked Michigan initially.
Yeah, hold on.
Maybe they'll be fired up. I don't know. It's a big.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I may let it ride, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
don't go against your gut.
They actually have a good coach now instead
And a
of
competent
Sherrone
coach.
Moore.
Biff,
No, but I'm saying Sherrone Moore wasn't a good coach. So I'm saying they
That's
actually
true.
have a good coach, and now they're
If he
interim.
was a good coach, he might not have gotten fired. So that's.
See, I kind of agree. I do not think what he was actually like a good coach, and I think a lot
No,
of
I picked
stuff
Texas
was, like,
initially.
swept under the rug. Urban Meyer style swept under the rug. If he was a good
Lane
coach.
Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin. Exactly.
Hey, Urban Meyer's a winner though.
No, I mean,
No.
yeah, I mean he was before he was. You know, the moment
Coaching
he
the Jags.
faked the heart attack, y'all know he faked the heart attack on the sideline that time, like that. I
Yeah.
couldn't. That was he was doing that to get out of something. I can't. Ohio State was like, I don't know. There was something going on there. I can't remember now what it was, but he just like faked heart attack. Still a better reaction than what Michigan's coach did when he found out he was called.
Oh my
Not
god.
good. Not good. I sent Braxton the gif of Shane Gillis where he's doing the skit where he puts the gun in his mouth and then aims it at the people and then y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
That was like so fitting to what he did, but that's terrible. I probably shouldn't joke about it, but
Yeah. Well,
anyways, so yeah, before we go, y'all want to just do a worst?
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
the best way to do this.
All right, so we'll do. You get to just go out of free
Actually,
worst.
Can I? I'll throw some out real quick.
Okay.
I don't know how you'd be able to implement this. The what is it? The 15th pick in the draft. So the last pick in the first round. It's like a comp pick.
So the only thing with that is like that would affect everybody who's picking 16th and beyond negatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I
it
don't know.
moves-
It's something more interesting than just a worse. Like it's someone
know.
in the draft. I don't know.
What about the end of the second round?
But still, I don't like people getting moved back. Like, I don't know why that. I don't. What about you?
I mean,
just
we'll
get
have to. We'll hold on. We'll have to think of some. If the I don't know what your guys' thoughts on the Rule 5 draft are. Wasn't that one of the things where like someone would get a compensation pick if they lose a guy?
Yes, that was one of the suggestions, and that was probably, honestly speaking, I think if I was willing to cave on the compensation for what you get when you lose guys, I think I probably would have passed. But I don't know, something about it, like I just feel like you don't need compensation. I don't know, I can't get my head around it. That's what I'm trying to do, is like feel like, okay, what could that compensation be that's more fair than something else. But I feel like if you lose a prospect and you get a first round pick to compensate for that prospect, you didn't really lose anything.
I mean, but I guess I get what you're saying with that, but it also, I don't know. It's your rewarded team for finding a talent like that. But I could also, it's not like I think there are other reasons why I'd like the Rule 5 draft besides the compensation, but I think it wouldn't hurt to have some sort of compensation rewarding an owner for finding a good, minor league talent.
Right. Yeah, so ultimately what I'm going to do, I'll talk with Paul and Braxton. We're going to figure out when we're going to do the podcast to kind of talk the Rule 5, and then I'm just going to encourage, it's like an open floor thing. Like, it ain't just going to be us three talking about it. Whoever wants to join the podcast can join and kind of give their opinions, and we'll just kind of all talk about it and see if we can make progress on voting again on something. So everybody good with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Sounds good.
Everybody good with divisions? We're all set and ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Ken and Height, thank you guys for joining us and knocking out the picks. And we will see you guys on the next podcast. Thanks for listening.